Well, welcome to MV Tutors. If you would like a one-on-one session, tutorial session with me after this, comment in this video asking for one, or alternatively visit our website and book a session over there. Okay, otherwise today we're talking about limits and differentiation from first principle. Now, I like to start my sessions with a vision in mind. Okay, so this is our vision here. What we're trying to do here is answer these questions. Okay, now what is the limit as x turns to 2? And then our second question is, given this function, determine the first derivative from first principle. Now, if you don't know how to answer any of these questions, stick around, and then hopefully by the end of the session you'll be able to answer them. Okay, now let's get right into it. Now, the first one that we really want to deal with is this one. What is this saying to us? Now, this LIM stands for limit. Okay, and this x arrow 2, it stands for as x turns to 2. What it really means is that where you see x, you should substitute 2. Okay, so what happens when we substitute 2 into this number, into this equation? What happens is that where there's an x, we put a 2, so we're going to have 2 squared minus 3 times 2 plus 2, sorry, divided by, where there's an x, we put a 2 squared minus 4. Now, there's something happening here. If you put 2 squared, remember 2 squared is 4. So you get 4 minus 4, it gives you 0. Okay, now this would give us an undefined solution, meaning you can't work it out any further. It's not gonna work whenever you get a 0 as a denominator. So what do we have to do? We have to manipulate this entire equation such that we can substitute 2 and it doesn't give us a 0 at the bottom. Now let's take that equation once again. We have x squared minus 3x plus 2 divided by x squared minus 4. All right, so in manipulating this, let's start with this top one. We have to factorize this. I hope you know how to factorize, but I'll do it real quickly. When you're factorizing, you open 2 brackets. Okay, you put an x there. Now I'm looking for multiples of 2 that when you add them up, they will give you minus 3. Okay, so if I put minus 2 and then I put minus 1, when I multiply minus 2 and minus 1, it gives me positive 2. When I add minus 2 plus minus 1, it gives me minus 3. So that's factorized. Now this bottom one is what we call difference of 2 squares. Okay, difference of 2 squares means likewise we open 2 brackets. Okay, and square root of 4 is 2. So this side we put a negative 2. This side we put a positive 2. That's how we factorize that. It's called difference of 2 squares. If you don't understand anything I just did now, feel free to book a one-on-one tutorial session and we'll deal with these very quickly. Now, from here, you can see that we can actually cancel these. Okay, we can cancel this one. It cancels with that one because they are exactly the same. And then I'm left with x. Let me get my red pen back. I'm left with x minus 1 over x plus 2. All right, now this I can work with. All we just did was to simplify this. So then we can get back to the limit now and say limit as x tends to 2, okay, of x minus 1 divided by x plus 2. All right, now we can substitute the 2. When you substitute the 2, you need to drop the limit sign. So you're just going to say equal to 2 minus 1 divided by 2 plus 2. So our final answer is going to be 2 minus 1 is 1, 2 plus 2 is 4. That is our final answer. Okay, I hope you understood that. Okay, so let's do this question now and try to understand it. What is first principles? First principles is still a limit, but it's a limit as h turns to 0, okay? And it's f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. As you can see, you can't just simply substitute h because it's going to give you a denominator of 0, which will make the whole thing undefined. So we have to actually deal with it and factorize and try simplify it. Now, f of x, okay, what f of x is, let me just use a different pen. F of x, we know that f of x is equals to, we are given there, it's 2x squared minus x, right? Okay, so that represents that part. So when we come to subtracting that part, that's what we're going to put in the equation. Now we need to solve now the following one, f of x plus h. All this means is that where you have an x, you substitute x plus h. So for example, 2 remains 2. Now we have an x here. Where we have an x, we put x plus h, okay, and it's squared, minus where we have an x, we put x plus h. Right, let's simplify this further. Okay, so I like to simplify things. Whenever I expand these things, I do that. I always do this, x plus h, x plus h. Okay, there's 2 of them. Okay, and then that one is x minus plus h. Just retain it in its brackets. Now the reason I like putting them side by side is because I can do that. Okay, h must multiply x here and then h. So then I would just need to follow the green line. So the first one is x times x, which gives me x squared. Next one is x times h, which gives me xh. Next one is h times x, which is also xh. And the last one is h times h, which is h squared. Close the brackets, minus. Okay, I'll keep this one as x plus h. Excuse me. Now I want to get rid of the brackets. Getting rid of the brackets, as you know, you also multiply this with that, with that, with that, and with that. Okay. Now, 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times x plus, let me just, it's 2 xh, and then the next one is also 2xh plus 2 times h squared is 2h squared. Now this one, we do the same thing. You know, whenever you have a brackets, don't forget the signs. So it's gonna be minus 1 times each one of them. A lot of people get stuck there or rather they make that mistake of forgetting this sign. So that here it's minus 1 times x, it's minus x, and then it's minus 1 times h, which is minus h. Okay, let's just combine things. It's 2 x squared. Okay, these are like terms over here, meaning I can combine them, and then it becomes 4 xh, and then I have plus 2 h squared minus x minus h. Okay, so this whole thing represents the function of x plus h. Now we'll come back to the limit and put them all together. Limit as h tends to, first of all, we have f of x plus h, meaning we have to substitute this whole thing. So we'll put it exactly as it is. Squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared minus x minus h minus. Now this minus is the one for f of x, this one. So f of x, we have it there. Okay, so it's 2x squared. Remember to put it in brackets first. It's 2x squared minus x. Okay, so all of this should be divided by h. Okay, we still can't substitute h for 0 because we're going to get a denominator of 0 and that's undefined, so we need to further simplify the equation. Okay, so we retain that 2x. Okay, so all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rewrite this exactly as it is, and then at the end I'll just get rid of those brackets so that you can see clearly what's happening. So here I have x times that minus 1 times 2x squared is minus 2x squared, minus 1 times minus x is plus x. Okay, and then all of this is divided by h. So let's see what happens here. Look at this. This 2x squared is subtracted by that one. Okay, so when you add them, it's 0. So that goes up. And then I have a minus x there, which is going to cancel with a plus x there. What else do I have? Nothing. Okay. All right, so I'm left with 4xh plus 2h squared. Okay, and then I have a minus h, everything else cancelled, divided by h. Okay. Now this one, if I can factorize, I take h out and then I'm left with 4x. Here, I'm left with 2 and 1h. Here is just a minus 1. Okay, we just factorize the top one. Now, you can see clearly that from here, the h's cancel each other, such that now the equation you are left with is the limit as h tends to 0 of 4x plus 2h minus 1. So we've simplified that long equation into this equation. Now you can substitute h such that you will get 4x plus 2 times 0 minus 1. Then your final answer is 4x minus 1. That's it. Thank you very much for listening.